Their direction was very clear. They're like, we've lived on this farm for a while, everything about the farm we love, and we want to build a modern, boxy, glazed style home that overlooks the big red barn. They grow microgreens and they have chickens that lay eggs on the farm. They have a little farm stand that the general public can go and purchase these items from. And it seems like every client asks for modern farmhouse, but they don't want this. This is an actual modern home on a farm.
This house tour is brought to you by the new fully electric Volvo EX90 for a driving experience out of the ordinary.
So if you look at the exterior, there's a lot of kind of boxy angles. The overuse of glazing, I almost want to say, so that we take advantage of every single view. They have fallen in love with the property, so we wanted to maximize that. So we have tried to kind of frame that view everywhere we can. The kitchen is really the star of the home. I think it's very common in new builds to have a double-story great room, and here we did the opposite. We did the double-story ceilings in the kitchen and the dining room, and the great room is a regular ceiling height. You'll see black metal throughout the home. We did a lot of custom pieces, so on this island is, your first view of it. We did the detail along the side and like a little foot rail along the bottom. Wheeler's studio did the cabinetry for us. He's basically an artist. We framed everything out in a white MDF, and then all of the door fronts are white oak that he did this ribbing detail, and I think it looks really special. It was important to us to not have like chunky hardware. It just didn't go with the look of this sleek kitchen. So he built in these handles right into the door. He's had to, do an angled cut so that everything again is just seamless and sleek. Every surface had to be 100% durable. They have 2 teenagers, they have 2 big dogs that roam the farm that shake mud all around. So we did large scale tile floors that look like concrete. In the kitchen we used a hard wearing quartz that looks like terrazzo. Again, never needs to be sealed. It's always gonna look like this, it doesn't stain. The challenge when you're building such a modern home with a lot of glazing and double-story ceilings is that you need to warm it up a little bit. And the way we did that was sprinkling wood throughout. And I think it balances out some of those cooler, hard surfaces. The main areas look like there's not a lot of clutter and that there's not a lot of things, and so the things that you do put in them really shine, but the only way to achieve that is to have hidden storage areas. So we have, hidden pantries and storage behind the kitchen and a lot of built-ins in every room you'll see, and that's what allows us to have that clean look. The staircase is definitely a feature, but we almost wanted it to disappear at the same time. I don't know if that makes sense. So it's in the middle of the home, which again is, fairly unique for a modern home. A lot of times they're pushed up against the side. We did the warm medium tone wood for the treads and then just glass for the railing so that your eye isn't cut and that you can see the barn from anywhere upstairs. When you're doing a modern build and you have vaulted ceilings and things like that, you need some kind of noise control. And the staircase kind of acts that way between this social hub that is the kitchen and the dining room, and then it divides that cozier spot that's the family room that maybe at the end of the night, once your guests have left, you're sitting down with your partner and going through your day. We wanted a cozy vibe, but we also wanted to carry through the modern aesthetics. So we did a flat fireplace with a textured black tile on it. We had a larger light and a smaller light, asymmetrical, hanging from the ceiling, but again, white and clean and crisp. And then instead of traditional millwork in there, we actually had our iron guy custom make iron shelves. It's a place to display, but we've kept the styling quite minimal. There's a few pictures of how they grew up on the farm, or Sandy and Mel with the kids on the farm, and a few art pieces, and we just kept it really simple. The side door is basically their main entrance. That's where they come in from the farm. So there is the mudroom there. There's built-in cabinetry here. It's actually a laminate that's made to look like plywood. So again, if it gets splashed with mud or anything else, it's wipeable. There's a powder room here. So this is kind of what the family uses. This is what their friends use. And then if you go to the front of the home, there's another entranceway with, a fancy powder room for guests. The bedrooms, their daughter Molly wanted this wispy, pretty, touch of sage green, but she wanted a huge wall to display all of her pictures of her friends and her notes and things like that. So we took a great deal of wall space to do that. Their son, Max, he wanted monkey bars to take him from his bedroom into his bathroom. I mean, what kid wouldn't want that? Like, I'm 38 and I want that. So we added some interest with paint details. So we did a stripe of navy up and over the ceiling. You'll see he has that navy blue running throughout. Who wouldn't want to be a kid in this family? They actually created a kid's office as well. So we had an extra room. Mel and Sandy were like, we don't need a million spare bedrooms. We're going to focus that in the basement. So we did a wallpaper all around that actually is made out of maps. And then we did a gallery wall of photos that were basically provincial park posters in Canada. These kids are adventurous, they live on a farm, and they like to explore. So I think that room is a reminder to explore. And it's also a place to do their homework and more practical things. There's a little beanbag lounge in there so they can hang out with their friends. But I think it's a nice little spot. When you're doing a principal bedroom, the go-to move would be to put your bed on a wall. And you pick the biggest wall so that you have room for your nightstands and all of those things. But Mel was like, I do not want that. I don't want to wake up and crank my head to have to look at the view. So we created a little drywall half wall. So you walk in, you see the wall, you walk around, and the bed was created on the other side of that. We did a custom upholstered bed and a nice wood frame. And so when Mel and Sandy wake up, they can just open their eyes and they see the big red barn. The bathroom is basically an extension of their bedroom. They wanted something very minimal. Again, the excitement is the barn, the animals running around. So everything else she wanted to have a quiet vibe. So the flooring is a porcelain tile, but it looks like concrete and stone. So it looks like it fits within the landscape. And then we did a custom vanity out of wood, and the top is a quartz, again, to look like concrete. Part of the fun of being a designer on a project like this is I got to explore the farm. There's a spot for peacocks, and they will show their feathers. I mean, they're quite impressive. There's a spot for the chickens and hens. The biggest social spot is right in front of the barn. There's a big mud pile, the big pigs roll in there, the emus, the llamas. They have cows, farm cats, their own dogs. Like, it's a real mix, and it's actually very interesting to just sit back and watch life happen as it does. There was a baby llama born last week. It is adorable. We're going to try to introduce you to him. He's very, very cute, but his mom's being a little protective right now, so we'll see. I think they're quite happy with the results, and so am I. We didn't disturb what is here, so everything that they loved about the property is intact, and that was important to them. They didn't want to come here, clear the land, and then have this modern landscape. That was not the idea. Even though their design aesthetic is modern, they wanted to keep the rustic farmland, and I think we've achieved a nice balance there. I think that term modern farmhouse has kind of gotten diluted through design, where it seems like welcome, Sandy. Yeah, the modern farmer.